Dr. Sangeeta Reddy, Ms. Jyoti Vij, Ms. Naina Lal Kidwai, Ms. Nishta Satyam, Ms. Alka Arora, Ms. Meeta Rajiv Lochan, Ms. Harjinder Kaur, eminent panelists empowering the greater 50% community, ladies and gentlemen. Let me begin by reminding ourselves that COVID-19 pandemic has brought us to the most creative destruction moment in society, economy and governance in this century for the world and for India. While gender equality and women's empowerment straddles all three areas, it is upon us to ensure that we emerge on the other side of the pandemic, creating a new normal of gender equality and women's empowerment that feminists have been dreaming of. This is especially true in terms of their economic empowerment, for which entrepreneurship and employment are key. Prime Minister Modi's government has always center staged women's empowerment in its programs and policies and has emphasized women-led development as much as their development. This conception also informs Atmanirbhar Bharat and related economic stimulus packages in their three avataras, that is, in providing relief and mitigation, in revival and recovery, and in rebuilding back better. I want to emphasize that, and building anew. In the same spirit, it must drive the 5 pillars of Atmanirbhar Bharat: demographic dividend, demand, infrastructure, systems, and reform. Women and youth are critical determinants and beneficiaries of success in these areas. While the UN Women's Survey shows gender responsiveness of V&B, we need to continue to prioritize and strengthen it. So what must we do? Women and girls must be empowered through targeted funds and programs, the continuation of existing special programs, and through gender mainstreaming in transversal programs that ameliorate the hardships imposed by the pandemic and lift all and empower all women and girls. Atmanirbharta is about fostering Atmanirbhar women and girls, their dignity and rights through women's economic empowerment and autonomy. And what does that mean? Access, ownership, and control over land, natural resources, and other economic assets, skills, training, finance, entrepreneurship, and employment. Related government, private sector, civil society, multi-stakeholder strategies with their plans, programs, institutions, ecosystems, and most importantly, transformative investments must focus on kindling what I call the 7 chakras or energy centers of women's empowerment towards a gender equal post-COVID-19 economic renaissance of India itself. The first chakra is to forge gender responsive and women-led disaster management and humanitarian response strategies, now and into the future. They must meet the particular needs of women and girls, whether it is menstrual hygiene products, contraceptives, midday meals for girls not going to school, food and rations, distance education, and cooking gas access. For example, domestic violence response services and social services must also be provided as essential services. Women must get entrepreneurship opportunities and employment from what I call the crisis response industry. PPE kits, mask making, home delivery services, cooking meals for public distribution, care services. The second chakra is holistically addressing the intersectionality of marginalized women's multiple identities as Dalit, tribal, rural, disabled, migrant, and poor women, and empowering them economically with decent work and entrepreneurship so that none is left behind. And that's the essence of SDGs, but also Antyodaya. These categories of women need to be compensated for their loss of livelihood and sustenance through Manrega, but also targeted for support through the Jan Dhan, MSME, Swanidhi, this is the street vendor concessional financing that's been launched, PMAY, homes, migrant worker support funds, and other anti-poverty and resilience building funds. The third chakra must integrate, foster, value, and even privilege women's skills, labor, enterprise, and leadership in reinvigorated agriculture, manufacturing, and services sector supply chains, and rural and urban infrastructure building. And these supply chains are both local to national and global. Targeted and mainstreamed measures, incentives, and scaled up transformative investments by government and private sector are required to spur women's fuller participation in the workforce and in bridging the entrepreneurship gender gulf that exists, and I emphasize that, in size, scope, scale, risk-taking, and diversity. There is opportunity for a big jump from mere 14% or 8.5 million women entrepreneurs in India out of 58 million, and for them to move from micro, small, sometimes one-person enterprises to medium and large job-creating engines. More support to women's self-help groups must also be provided. The fourth chakra must enable technological empowerment of women and girls to benefit from and contribute to an equitable new normal of accelerated fourth industrial revolution and digitized AI-driven economy and the fast-forwarded future world of work and entrepreneurship. Women's participation in the digital AI and gig economy and high-tech jobs, benefiting from flexible zero-hour work and sharing of unpaid care work, domestic work by men, are positives that must be harvested and not made into negatives again for women. The fifth chakra must ensure universal access of women and girls to healthcare, including sexual and reproductive health and rights. Prime Minister Modi's digital health card, Ayushman Bharat, Jan Aushadhi centers, etc. are steps in that direction. A revamped and expanded health, medical, and pharmaceutical infrastructure and services with enhanced 3% of GDP investment must be powered by women's agency, entrepreneurship, employment, and leadership. The sixth chakra of 21st century gender responsive education and training systems must enable all women and girls to access quality education. Effective implementation of the new education policy of India must close the persisting literacy, numeracy, primary, secondary, tertiary, higher and digital education and skills related gender gaps. It must foster their multi-sectoral knowledge, vocational skills, STEM talent and employability, and create a women's skills bank at all levels. Also, then fostering a value chain of education to employment to entrepreneurship. To scale that too. Seventh chakra of transformation is normative, cultural and behavioral change at individual, societal, corporate, government, national and global levels. SDG 5 of Agenda 2030 must be the template for overhauling and implementing post-pandemic policies and laws, systems and norms, including through gender-responsive budgeting and financing. Patriarchal attitudes and structural barriers must be part of the baggage to be destroyed. Gender equal social and cultural norms based on progressive global women's human rights norms must be adopted. The full potential of India's greater 50% women and girls must be tapped if India has to achieve its $5 trillion economy by 2025 ambition, bucking the COVID shock to the economy. McKinsey estimates that women's empowerment and gender parity is expected to boost India's GDP by nearly 800 billion by 2025, demonstrating that Bharat cannot be Atmanirbhar and Shresht without the full deployment of the energy and talent of its women workers and entrepreneurs. Thank you.